Welcome.
Here at the Giver Marketing Network, we don't leave you drifting out in space. We connect you to a coach who will help you build and grow your marketing business. Our process acts as a guide on how to connect with other businesses, maintain good relations, and establish a presence on the Giver Marketing Network. Each member within this collaborative group will have the opportunity to leverage your talent and influence, a true network effect. If you are looking to collaborate on more projects, welcome to the Giver Marketing Network, the most trusted and highest rated collective of specialists on the planet. Here we have a group of like-minded professionals who focus on making valuable introductions and helping each other grow by teaming up. Imagine Upwork meets a network and a coach. The talent collectively includes services like visibility and SEO, creating logos, designing websites, managing social media, outreach messaging, visual storytelling, and much more. Think of what you could do with laser-focused allies strengthening your business while offering your talent to the entire network. Click near this video for more information.
Welcome, everyone. Here with Vickie Christensen for our Tuesday Marketing Masterclass. Buckle up, take some notes, get your devices out, get ready, get engaged, and we're going to be talking about Vickie. We're going to be talking about visibility with Vickie. And so say that 5 times fast, right? I love it. Well, we're here to talk about how to help you get found. And so, Vickie, with that, I'm going to hand over to you. You're with Wellman Works, and you're our visibility Vickie gal. You're the person who makes sure we can be found online. And in today's world, if you can't be found easily and quickly, you might as well be invisible. And so we want to help us not be the best kept secret in town, Vickie. How do we do this?
Good morning. Well, how do we do this? We be best friends with Google.
Okay.
And I know that sounds just very different, but that is exactly what you need to do. You need to know what they're looking for. And so you can be found on the internet. And so then they will actually have your website be found as well. So we're going to talk about Google business profiles for actual businesses, small businesses, medium businesses, large businesses that have either a brick and mortar or they are a service area business, and they might work out of their home, or they just don't want their address shown. So the most important thing is trying to figure out what your clients and potential clients are going to see when they go online. I've been doing this. I've been in the technology business for over 30 years, and boy, things have changed, but they remain the same. There are major players that will make you or break you, and we're gonna talk about one of those today. So we want to make sure that Google and all the search engines, including like Bing and Microsoft, that they can interpret what you have online as viable, and they have authority and confidence in you. So we're gonna talk about a couple things. How do you win the online game? Well, just like what we just talked about, you follow the rules, build up your foundational information, and be best friends with Google. Bottom line of any good digital strategy and as SEO that gets your business found in search. And so this has been kind of percolating to the top. 03 to 05, search engines they essentially want to give you information that you are looking for, and they've got to figure out what that is by the words you type in, and then try to match you with people online. So when you think of local search, you think of your Google business profile and Google Maps, highly important. Organic, which means no ads, it's unpaid. It just means how relevant are you in search, right? Think about your keywords, pieces of information, content on the web that matches to your Google profile, matches to your keywords here and there, your good people that you've linked to. Both ways are trusted and supported.
Vickie, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes.
So as we go through this, I think that maybe the audience might be asking themselves, well, I'm kind of more of an online business. I don't I don't need as many people driving to my location as maybe I did in the past. Is this still relevant if you're an online business?
It's 100% relevant. Um, uh, it, there are some businesses that Google, if you're 100% online, that Google um, doesn't have affinity to you doing a Google business profile, but then that's certain cases. Google started this Google business profile to for brick and mortar,
Hmm.
and then they did expand to service area businesses where
Okay.
you might go to your client
Yeah.
um, and meet them like at their place of business or
Yeah.
at a coffee shop, etc. So there are some rules in there about who can actually take advantage of this, but for the most part, I haven't run into a business yet that I couldn't put on Google Business Profile. But
Okay, that's a great way to put it. I know with Giver Marketing Network, you've helped us make sure that we're listed properly on Google and our reviews are off the charts. And you're going to be talking about that in a minute. But I just want to let the audience know, whoever's listening to this live or in the recording, do not ignore Google. It is a $10,000 piece of real estate or more. It could be a $100,000 piece of real estate for you that's available with just a few minutes of work and help and asking Vickie for some help. Like that's about all you need to do is just get it done because it's that piece of real estate that in the early days of like America or different countries where they give away pieces of real estate just for coming, just for participating. That's what Google's doing right now, and
yeah,
it won't be free forever. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be at some point where they're going to be start charging tiers and charging this, and charging that. Get your piece of real estate while it's available. So, Vickie, with that, 99.9% of us listening, we need what you're about to talk about. So, here we go.
absolutely. In fact, you brought up a very good point. Just having your Google business profile, a painter, customer friend of mine in Placerville, he was able to paint Sierra Tahoe um, just because he had a Google business profile. They found him. He got to bid on the job. It was a $50,000 job,
Come
and
on.
he secured that job. And he didn't go out looking for them.
Ladies
So
and gentlemen, lesson here be found, be found with quality, be found quickly. Work with Vickie if you have any questions, and it will produce good attention appointments and potentially revenue for you as well.
absolutely. So when you look at your search engine, and you go to Chrome or Microsoft, whatever, and you look at the left hand side, you will see the business listings. You will see like Facebook is a business listing. You'll see LinkedIn, that's a business listing. Those both have very high authority, very high domain value, ranking value. There are many other business listings that should show up on the left hand side with your information to support your Google Business panel.
This is when you're searching on Google, correct?
Yeah,
Got it.
searching on Google. And on the right hand side is your knowledge panel, and you can see it shows your reviews. It shows your business name. It shows your logo. It shows images that you've uploaded, and it's this is how people find you. Um, okay, so then how can this help people to land on my brand? Well, it allows you to be seen. Oh yeah, Yelp is another business listing. Um, a lot of people use that, like restaurants and lodging. Um, they're a tricky customer, but they're very high ranking. So your website, bio, phone number, images, that all that information that is consistent across the internet, that gives you authority, and then the search engines have confidence in you, and then they will actually put your website up in search. Um, And well, that's actually what you want, because that's the only piece of real estate that you actually own. So, in real estate, which we just said real estate, they always talk about location, location, location. And does your, like they talk about a house, does it have curb appeal, right? Well, there's things you can do to your Google business profile to give it curb appeal, both to clients and to algorithm search engines. Um, we talk about expertise. These are the things that the search engine algorithm would look for: expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. Um, and I'll show you later on how that comes into play. One of the things that you can do to boost your searchability, your ranking, 15% of your organic ranking, which means no ads, no anything, is your reviews. So we have systems in place to help you get more reviews. You can't buy them. You'll be gone. They'll get rid of you. But so you get reviews, and then your words have power. So when you get a review and you can respond to that review and thank the customer, reference their business, pay it forward right there in the response. And it carries a lot of weight for you and the client. So here's a quick little example of a longtime plumber in Cameron Park who didn't want any of this stuff. So I showed him, okay, well, I searched for you on the internet, and of course, on the right-hand side, it showed nothing. It showed some business listings, some random ones, but nothing, no reviews, no knowledge panel, no Google. And so then right away I went in and I said, okay, I searched for it. I searched for it again. Okay, so first of all, they looked for relevance. They looked for the business name. They couldn't find it, so they gave me nothing. Then I went in and I did it again. And so then they gave me a business that was close in proximity. Remember we talked about proximity? Close to me. So that's what they're going to look for. That's why this Gold Star Plumbing came up. No reviews, no nothing, but it was in Cameron Park. Third time, I just went right back in and I said, okay, so they're interpreting, I'm not getting what I want. I'm still looking for a plumber. And so in Cameron Park. So then they gave me somebody that's not too far away that had 38 reviews. So then they're thinking, well, this has got to be it. We went from proximity to relevance, right? And so then we finally made him a Google business profile. He retired. He did not get any reviews, but still, we got him on the map.
I love that this principle works whether you're a local brick and mortar kind of business or local service business, or if you're regional, or if you're doing a lot of work online. Like, for example, I just looked at our business profile earlier today and kind of just reviewing, because you send out reports and all this to us, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Hundreds and hundreds of people visiting this profile, and we're 99% online. Like, we have maybe a client here or there that we meet in person and do some different things when it's necessary, but for the most part, we're traveling around, we're doing virtual stuff, we're doing things like that. So whether you're a plumbing business or an online consultant, it's important to note that as long as you have an address, and Vickie can speak to this better than I can, you can be listed on this very important piece of real estate and get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people potentially, if not thousands, depending on kind of what you're doing with your business, really jumping into this piece of digital real estate for you.
Absolutely. And yeah, Bill did not, he worked out of his home and he traveled around in his truck. He didn't have an address. So anyway, it was a very interesting case. So, we talked about Google reviews, right? So over 85% rely on Google reviews, and over 97% say they influence buying. And I wouldn't even doubt if that's like more, depending on the demographic that you're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like, yeah, my daughter, it doesn't matter if she's ever been to the restaurant, but she'd say, look at those reviews,
Yep.
that
Yep.
would make her go there.
Yep. My wife and I do the same thing. It's almost like no matter where you're shopping, what you're buying, it could be a restaurant, it could be something you're just purchasing for the first time. Sometimes I'll cross-reference to different places,
Yeah.
make sure that I'm not getting, you know, bamboozled, which Google's really good about making sure that the reviews are easily seen, and who's kind of saying things, so that's really good.
This test or review was done uh, about Google reviews. This company found that 57% of the consumers will only buy from a business that has a 4+ star rating. And I
Got
don't
it.
doubt
So they have to
that.
have 4 out of 5 or more, like a 4.1 or a 4.2 or whatever the average is, for these 57% of people who say, "Yippee, I'm gonna jump into that brand."
Yeah. So if you get a bad review, which will knock your rating down, you just want to make sure you respond. I mean, right away and explain, try to manage the systems, the scenario to the customer's advantage right then and there. And people will look at that.
We've
That
had
you,
clients, I know you and I both have worked with clients where they'll get a review from a negative review from somebody they never even did work with.
oh yeah,
And you're like, "Okay, how do I handle this?" So, Vickie, I mean, my my gut reaction is always kill them with kindness. Like, just let the truth be known of what's going on. Try to go get 9 positive reviews for every 1 negative review, and just bury that thing with awesomeness. But is there other better ways, or is that pretty much the rule of thumb?
that's it. That's the formula.
Okay. All right. All right. Good. I love it.
This is just an example of a review link that we give customers, so that it makes it easy for people to give reviews to your business. And this is just an example of getting a glowing review, and then I respond in like terms and highlight the customer's business so that they get some juice out of it too. Um, so Google reviews, it shows that people will work with people if they have a minimum of reviews as well. And I'm like, okay, this has got to be like a restaurant or something. Like this should be not percent, just 47. So um, the top three ranking had like 47 reviews, and then 4 to 6, 40, 7 to 10, 38. It's not impossible. I mean, Tim's knocked it out of the park. He deals with a lot of people. If you have a large customer base, um, you just get your reviews up there, you respond to them, and 15% of your ranking right there. I mean, that's gold.
So some people will say, I don't have a lot of clients. I don't have a lot of people to ask, and even when I do, it feels strange to ask people for reviews for some reason. And I want to speak to this for just a second, Vickie, because
And
you've helped me and our team and our network of dozens and dozens and dozens of brands represented within our network really understand this. Uh, First of all, Google isn't quite like the other platforms in that your associates, people who trust you, who've done business with you, been on the soccer field with you, who've been at a meeting with you, who know you over a meal, people who really have something to say, whether it's one sentence or two or three or four, uh, they should be given an opportunity to give you kind words online. If
absolutely.
if you take that opportunity away, if I'm understanding this, Vickie, basically what you're doing is you're hurting everybody, because you're listing your profile your business listing, your business profile won't be as visible. They won't get a chance to psychologically say some, good things about you. And so that kind of helps them in understanding what you do and digging in a little deeper and forming some words around that. So there's a triple win if you're able to encourage your friends, family, associates, business partners, joint venture partners, people who have seen your work, people who have experienced your work, even secondhand. As long as they can honestly say something kind, you need to give them an opportunity to give those reviews. Because if you hit that, like Vickie was saying, if you hit that certain mark of 30, 40, maybe even 50 reviews, now you're top drawer. Like you're in the top, well, you're in the top like 5% of people on Google at that point if you start hitting those numbers. So good job on that if you're doing that. If not, talk to Vickie. She can help you do that.
You're exactly right. I just spoke with a new plumber, relatively new in the business, and he's like, I don't have that many customers. I haven't had that many customers. He goes, I said, so you have people that can give you a character reference that have known you, in other businesses. And so absolutely. He goes, oh, the light bulb went on. So just exactly what you're saying. So if you want to see how you are connecting like with Google online, this scan tool can help you see that. So this scan tool selected a few 20 or something of the top business listings, and they're going to see if you're on there and if you are synced with Google. In other words, like if everything's matching, which is the game. It's the match game, right? You want to make sure your information is consistent across the internet. So this is found at scan.wellmanworks.com. Timothy also has one. So you can put in your business and it will show you the inconsistencies or the consistencies. And so one of the big trip ups is inconsistencies. If you had a different phone number, if you had a different address, if your business name is typed out a little bit different here, a little bit there. So those are all trip ups, and you really want to take a look and see how you're looking on the internet. We talked about this a little bit already. Do I need an address? Oh, this says Google My Business. Sorry. It just recently was Google My Business, and now it's Google Business Profile. So you need an address to create a profile. You can hide that address if you don't want to publicize it. You get better traction on maps if you do have an address, and which is important. But you don't have to. But you can't use a PO box or a storage unit and I said, or you cannot use a shared office space. Well, I will backtrack on that just here a minute, because you can use virtual offices if somebody's there during business hours to greet people or to connect with them, and there's signage of some sort. Now that can vary, but what they want is permanent signage outside, but it's probably a bit of a gray area. So there are sometimes you can make that work if you absolutely need to.
So there's ways to do it, is what I'm hearing. If you want to be listed on Google Business Profile and you have a desire to reach a certain area, maybe as a focal point, doesn't mean it's limited to your business. It just means that that's what you want to focus on when it comes to Google Business Profile, and you can help them do that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I know you helped us with that. I'm just making sure that that's still a thing, because we were able to basically take like about half the United States, kind of like what you're seeing on the screen there, and just say, look, we want to focus here for right now. We can always change this or expand this or modify this, but let's start somewhere. And there's other international people listening and watching this as well. Wherever you are, we can try to help you with this, because Google is a giant. absolute giant. So chances are you can get listed pretty quickly.
Yes, absolutely. You get listed quickly. So, okay, earlier we talked about, the 2020 made it, everybody turned into an internet shopper. So what does Google say? We look at relevance, distance, and prominence. So relevance, remember the plumber. So is it relevant to me? Yep, I'm looking for a plumber. They gave me a plumber. Distance, they'll look at that. So first they gave me right next door, then they gave me 10 miles down the road. That's how that works. And then prominence. What Google says is prominence is your articles and directories, which is your business listings. So that scan you're going to look at, scan.wellmanworks.com, that shows you some directories that have high level. Your Facebook and your LinkedIn and your Yelp, those are business directories. So the more of those you're on, the better, and for prominence. And of course, there's always backlinks to prominent websites that are
So you're saying
similar
they
to
work
yours.
together. Google will
Yes.
play nice with other platforms, even though they're technically different websites and different platforms and different listings. They want to pull all that data into their kind of aggregate place for searching all things internet, right? Like
Right.
Google just wants you on their platform, whatever it takes. So if I'm understanding, the word relevance here means like your keywords, whatever's being searched, uh, plumber in XYZ city,
Mm-hmm.
or consultant that helps with businesses that are doing this, or these keywords are the relevance part of this equation, correct?
Right. How
Okay.
relevant are you to what they're searching? And then they'll give you that information.
As
That's
long
right.
as you have that in your profile somewhere or it's done
Somewhere.
properly, then it'll work.
Yeah. Now you're talking about good content, your business category,
Yep.
your business name. Yeah, those types of things.
Good.
There was a study done. This is talking about how many business listings do you need, right?
Mhm.
Well, this test was done with only 10 for 115,000 locations. Did this test. 80% visibility improvement with
Whoa.
10 plus business listings, and 69% increase in website clicks with an optimized Google profile.
Wow. So if I'm hearing you right, Vickie, tell me if I'm off here because you've been teaching me a lot about this. If we get not only Google, but we got like the LinkedIn and the Facebook, and not just social media either, like other platforms and other kind of smaller search engines, even, and just different kind of listings all over the internet. If we get a good, 10 or more, our visibility is automatically going to go up because Google's like, yeah, they're legit, they're active, they're on multiple platforms. They're not just a new business that doesn't know what they're doing. Like
It's
they
insurance. Yeah,
okay, got it.
great insurance. Yeah, it just makes it happen. Makes it happen.
Good.
Uh, and if you, okay, outside of doing scan.wellmanworks.com to look and see what business directories you are on and how consistent your information is,
Hmm.
you can also go to a browser and go incognito. Tim talks about this all the time. It's highly effective. You pick the three dots on the upper right hand corner, makes it a private window as much as it can be. And then you put in your business name or your name and your location, and you see what comes up. It
Yep.
will help you see your consistencies and what you look like to people when they search.
Love it. Yeah. Search your industry, your business, kind of part of your business name, maybe even your first name, your industry, like all the different combinations. Try it out. It's kind of interesting to see how we are represented online. And we got to be real with it. Like we got to, it's either good or it's not. You know what I mean? Love it.
Exactly. So there's a lot more gems of information. But this is, again, what we started with was very foundational and highly important. It's like the yellow pages of the yesteryear. absolutely mandatory stuff. So I just wanted to give it as much attention as possible. And I will do a local search on it for 5 people that are interested in viewing the whole picture. It includes like your keywords, your websites, competition, your Google business profile. It's a ton of information. And so, that'll help you move forward for 2023.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. Reach out to Vickie, get some goodies. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how I ended up starting to work with Vickie is she offered some, free consultation, a quick conversation to see if we were a good fit. Then I was like, hey, could you help us be found? I mean, is this a thing? Like, can you do this? And I knew it was a thing, but I was just making sure she was the right person and she is. So either text her if you have a United States phone number or a Canadian phone number, text her at that number that you see on the screen, or go to meetwithvickie.com and you can set up a time with her. She's a wealth of knowledge. As you can see, she's really intimidating. So you better be on your game. Like she's gonna yell at you. No, I'm just kidding. She's a sweetheart. She really wants to help you, and she's there to serve, and that's what I love about Vickie. So look Vickie up on LinkedIn, text her, but really, if nothing else, go to meetwithvickie, VICKIE.com, and you won't be disappointed for sure. Okay, well, Vickie, at this point, this is when we get into the fun part. Okay, so let's go ahead and Stacy, if you want to remove the slide deck for just a little bit, we're going to bring in anybody who has their camera on. So Tim Solmonson has his camera on. Stacy, you got your camera on. Patrick's got his camera on. And so we're going to have a roundtable discussion focused on asking questions. So even if we know the answer to something, or we think we know the answer to something, let's have a roundtable discussion and form our statements in the form of a question so that our audience can better understand this concept of being found online, kind of online visibility. A lot of people will say SEO, search engine optimization. This is the foundation of that, right, Vickie? So we want to answer any of those questions. I know, Stacy, Laura had some questions from our online audience. Do you want to just tackle those really quickly before we get into the roundtable?
Yeah, for sure. I'll put those up here. Just give me a second. She did.
She had, I think, 2 questions, so those were good.
So she's asking, is it better to use actual legal business name or DBA on all platforms? What do you think, Vickie?
Let's see. My answer to that is, if you ever got suspended from Google and wanted to get reinstated, you're going to need some documents to prove that name. So I would go with whatever those were. That would be probably whatever you did, your fictitious or your Secretary of State. I would go there.
Whatever you have business documents proving. Okay, that's a good. I like how you just went right for that, Vickie. Just very direct. That's good. Because no matter what region of the world you're in, usually there's some kind of documentation saying, hey, you're a business or whatever, right? Okay.
Yeah, well, you could look at that in a whole bunch of different ways, but I put on the reinstatement hat from Google at that moment, because if I went to the SEO side, I would want to put all kinds of cool things in that business name. And that's not always the correct approach, going with your actual business name.
I heard one person once say, if you have a choice, it's better to be clear than clever. And I'm sure Google rewards that as well, is what I'm hearing.
They don't just reward it. If you lose your Google business profile, you're going to need documentation to get it back.
They penalize you if you don't do it right. Okay, Stacy, what do you got? What's the
next the next question Laura had. So can you please explain why it's better to focus small and not list as a whole of the U.S.? And I remember when you and I, Vickie, were working on my business, you had a good answer to this. So, yeah, go ahead there.
So when as I started saying Google business profiles were built for local, local brick and mortar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even though we're a service area business, and we can visit, or we can take care of the person clear over in New York from California, they they find you more reputable if it's realistic, and that you can travel there in a couple of hours. That's one of the things they kind of look at.
Okay. So technically you could go wider than that, but it may not be as beneficial as you think.
You might, the traction the traction you might get from that, and it's difficult enough to rank for business, locations,
Mm-hmm.
without setting up an address. So the more refined your area is, then you can put that effort there, in your content and your community pages and your blogs, and referencing those areas. So, it's kind of hard to, talk about 45 counties, when you're trying to be, to get depth of information about those, and say that you are an authority in those. Like, yeah, I should be ranked for Folsom, California, and I don't have one piece of content on my website for Folsom, California.
Got it. So you're really,
right?
if you're going to be doing that kind of and start expanding your footprint, if you're going to fall in line with kind of what the Google's best practices are, you'd probably end up with maybe another address somewhere else if you're really going to be doing that, and some content on your website or another website, and kind of set up a virtual office or a separate office or something that would represent you legitimately, not just figuratively, but actually. Like, this is literally a region we are active in. We have blogs, we have this, we have that.
I just worked with an appliance repair person back east, and they had an SEO expert go in, and they made him all these different Google profiles, with no substantiation, and plus they used addresses that weren't theirs, and there was a bunch of hokey stuff going on, but there was no content to support the fact. There was no backlinks. There was no, I'm a sponsor for the Little League in this town.
Nothing. It was just it was a surface level
Facebook page. They put up a Google profile and thought, I'm in. Well,
okay.
Google's looking deeper than that.
By the way, for our international viewers, back east means on the east coast of the United States of America. I'm just letting everybody know. No worries. Okay, we had some really good questions from Tim Solmonson. We have a question or two from Patrick as well. So excited to kind of go around the horn here. Tim, you had pick your best three, man. Like, you had some good questions in the private chat here. What do you give us your top, 2 or 3 questions here? Start with one.
I think a question everyone has is, how do you get more Google reviews? I mean, this Giver Marketing is the #1 most reviewed marketing network in the world. So you've dialed into something, and I know you have a secret, and people want to know.
Vickie, how did we worked hard on this? We worked hard on this early, and then as the team grew and the network grew, it just kept growing. Like, what can you explain?
It's an action item. Okay, you give somebody a tool, which we do, and then it's an action item. And Timothy and his team ran with it. It's just like writing a blog, or whatever you do that's consistent. He did that, and we give people the tools to do that. Some people take that tool and put it in the drawer and don't do anything, but you just integrate asking for reviews in your newsletter, in your email, in texts.
All you did was set up a link for us. I mean, then we just ran with it. I mean, let's be real. Like, Vickie, you made it so easy for us to get going that we got good at it after that. So it's just like
And there are deeper e- easy ways as well to send out requests to your list.
yeah.
So there's a couple different ways that we approach it, and it's been very successful for those who use it.
Well, I love that you made it easy for us, and just to be able to break those barriers of 30, 40, 50. Now we have over 100 reviews, 5-star, highest rated. Maybe not the most, but we have the highest rated of our network, like of marketing professionals. So we're super super thrilled about that, and it just gives a lot of attention on Google. People start finding us and different things. Okay, so Tim, and that's just the Giver Marketing Network. That doesn't include the clients we're working with, the team members like Stacy you're working with, and others that are starting to get dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of reviews. So that's super fun.
Did that answer that, Tim?
Yeah. How do you inspire engagement? I mean, this is one way. I get kind of the being intentional about inviting people to do a review. That's just one kind of CTA or call to action. How about other ways? And is that really help in your ranking in terms of starting conversations or having hooks? Those things that get people to respond and interact. I mean, how important are those kind of things?
If they end up being a review, it's 15% of your ranking. And you can always give somebody else a review. Like if you're working with a client, give them a review first.
I like that. Kind of a strategy, a win-win strategy.
That's a sharing is caring kind of thing. Like if you're going to ask for it, you should give it back. So yeah, I like that. That's a really good strategy.
I've done that on LinkedIn with recommendations, but Vickie, you've taken my brain to another level. I like that. Okay.
Actually, it kind of twisted my brain at that moment too.
I love it.
I'm like, oh.
The power of a roundtable discussion. Tim, you had maybe one more question.
So there are like hundreds of social media channels that I can sign up for. Is that something that you recommend in making sure that you're, I think Laura mentioned this too, like alignable, and the reviews and interaction that you have on some of these other social media channels, do they also help contribute, or do you just kind of need to stick with Google?
I think alignable is up and coming. They've kind of like taken the model of the happy neighborhood. Is that what that's called? Happy Neighborhood Project or something? HNP. I'll just dilute it like this. Wherever you're going to spend any time and you have possible clients there, a good percentage of clients there, and you feel comfortable and it's easy for you to interact, that's where you go. But don't just get on one because it has a high, like don't get on one just because it's a directory listing with high domain value and searchability. Because if you're just out there and you're ghosting the place, then that's going to look worse. So just go where you're comfortable. Give it a shot. I think Alignable is a very comfy little place to be. It's not presumptuous in any way.
Nice. Love it. I know before we met you, Vickie, Google was a little bit of a mystery to us because it seems like there was changes happening, like even from now it's called Google Business Profile, and it was called something else before, and then even before that it was called something else, I think, if I remember right. And so you've navigated through us with that. And Patrick, you had a question about YouTube specifically. Can you explain that?
Well, I was just throwing it out there for something for Vickie to chat with these guys about, and that is when you're building your GPP out and trying to create a online storefront, video and images grab attention, I believe, a lot more. I mean, the stars are number one. And sometimes, kind of to touch a little on what Tim was saying, it's not how many stars you have on each thing, but that you got a lot of stars. Because if you look at it from your own view, when I go to search something, I look and it's like, wow, bunch of stars. That interests me, right? But images grab our attention. So I was wondering if, Vickie, you could touch on the power of images in your Google business profile and YouTube videos, those kind of things.
Oh, absolutely. That comes into the optimization part. And I would say, well, video is, I think the number is something around 85% that's going to be consumed online. It's going to be video. That was 2022. There is an area for video on Google, and so that's highly important, as well as maybe even monthly putting up images. And if you're interested in, this is something I helped out the appliance repair guy. He goes, I want to get ranking in these other areas. Well, okay, besides all the other things that we discussed. I said, so when you're at a client's house, and you just repaired that washer or that dishwasher, then go to Google Maps, take an image, and it will, to your profile, your Google Business, Google Maps, Google Business profile, it will document that from that area. And so besides the fun things to look at, it is highly important where you take those images. And so you can actually benefit yourself by not just putting images up from your office, but going out. And if you want to rank for, Folsom, California, you go out there and you're at a customer's office and you take a picture from there, and then you have that additional information.
Good tip for the local businesses trying to dominate a region.
Yeah.
And if I heard right, Patrick had a question about the YouTube, and I know YouTube is owned by Google as well, and that's considered a complementary search engine. In fact, YouTube is the second most used search engine right behind Google itself. So it's kind of the 1-2 punch that's owned by the same entity, right? So I'm assuming that YouTube, tell me what you think, Vickie, but Patrick's question is around YouTube as well. Those videos that you bring in, I'm assuming that they help.
Well, of course, they absolutely, with the connection you just described. And then if your video is optimized with your keywords, then it just is a whole nother opportunity to embed those keywords.
Okay, now we're in the matrix. I can't handle it. I can't do it. That's too complicated. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But it does. It gets a little bit, once you set everything up, kind of get things going, definitely want to reach out to Vickie and she can kind of fine tune and save you, dozens of hours of trying to figure all this stuff out yourself, just like any expert would, right? They want to help you streamline your time and get the most bang for your effort and make sure that happens. What other questions do we have as we wrap up? We're going to wrap up here in a few minutes, but I just want to make sure, and you know how these conversations go. There's always that one last question or two that are like amazing questions. So who has another question? Maybe one or two more, and then we can wrap up.
Can I throw another thing out there about images and video? Because it is so important, I think. And as you know, Tim, and I think and Stacy as well, I started in real estate in like the 80s and then transitioned into where I'm at today. But in the 90s, I started videoing reviews and testimonials of my customers when we were closing escrow. So I would just grab my phone, and this was way back before anybody even thought about video. Just record them saying, I used to tell them, say something fun about me, and then we would laugh and I would leave the bloopers in there. It was really a lot of fun. But could you touch on that for the audience on using the power of review videos tied in with your star ratings? Because I found them to rank really well on my web when somebody's running a search for my business.
Well, they do, and I've actually promoted that for years with people with having like events, and so right there on the spot, having the people, give reviews. Like it's almost like a Facebook Live, but it's not. It's not Facebook. It's you have an actual video of these people. So Tellus is a company that still is around. Doing video reviews. So I've done them. They're a great idea. Again, it's the person that's. I work with a lot of real estate agents too. It's the person, if it's going to work for that person to do that. If they're as gregarious and outward as you, that's awesome. But if they're, like even sending a link is a little frightening. But yeah, the weight of a video and a review, absolutely. And then you can transmit that into just text. So it has all kinds of value. You are absolutely correct.
Good question, Patrick. It brings in a kind of a landing point for our conversation today. What I hear you saying, Vickie, and even all the questions that are being asked is, don't ignore Google Business Profile. If you need to learn how to set it up, just Google. How do I set up Google Business Profile? Like just start there. And then once you hit a little roadblock, whenever that happens, talk to Vickie, and then she'll get you to the next level of awesomeness. Meetwithvickie.com, right? So what I hear is don't ignore it. Get started. Make sure and treat it with, at least a little bit of time and seriousness for at least a while, just to get you going. And let's see how many people end up landing on these pages and end up pinging you. And there's even ways to put a booking link right in your Google Business Profile. And
yes.
It's almost starting to feel a little bit like some of these social media profiles. I know.
Yeah, you just got to be careful with that one, though. I mean, the booking link is awesome, but you have to be able to respond within 24 hours or faster, because they actually track that. And then they will compare you to somebody else when somebody's looking for you, and they will give that stat. So you have to be able to.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we just put a third-party link on there, and people book it, and immediately it's done. So whatever it takes.
You're saying a different kind. Okay.
Whatever it takes to get people a clear understanding of who you are, how many kind words are floating out around about you, like Patrick's saying, say something about me that people would find interesting, or whatever it is. Say have fun with it. Like use keywords in your reviews if you can, and some things like this, but just be natural about it, and Google will probably reward you as long as you stay active, is what I'm hearing. We can complicate this, like we can get deep.
Yes, we can.
But at the end of the day, we just got to get started. Otherwise, we're going to be leaving a $10,000 to potentially $100,000 piece of real estate just sitting without us claiming it as our piece of a search engine. So let's do it, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate everybody who tuned in today. If you have any more questions, Vickie's going to be traveling around the interwebs, checking out the comments and seeing who she can connect with. But really, we'd love for you to just reach out to her either on LinkedIn or book a time with her. Meetwithvickie.com will be fine. But thank you, Vickie, for spending some of your valuable time in teaching us how to get started. Ladies and gentlemen, don't spend tens of thousands of dollars on SEO until you do what Vickie just said today. Today is the foundation for you to build all that fancy stuff. This is the foundation. It may not be as many bells and whistles and this, but this is the foundation. Like trust me. As a marketing coach, I always recommend people talk to Vickie or people who know about these foundations. Otherwise, you're going to be building your house on a house of cards, and you don't want that. You want a really solid foundation with some good materials, and Vickie's great at that. So thank you again, Vickie. Any questions? She'll be reaching out to those who make comments. So make comments. Let's go. Let's get the algorithms going on this video. Let's do this. All right. God bless you guys. We'll see you next week. Same time, same channel.
Thank you.